I think my confidence comes from my heart and my gut. And something I would say to a person that can't speak up is you have a voice too. Let it shine.
Let it shine. So your heart and your gut. So trusting your intuition.
Mm-hmm.
How do you trust? How do you know what your gut's telling you? Like, what does that feel like? Or what do you do when that happens?
It's like my gut is pulling me.
So when that happens, what do you do?
I trust it.
I love that. And I think this world will try to pull us away from that sense. I think we're all innately born with that. So I think you're tapped into something that we lose sight of. So learning what that feels like, trusting yourself, trusting that that's God-given and going in that direction will never steer you wrong. That's a beautiful gift that we all have that you're just really tapped into at 10.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to Living in 3D Power. Discover your truth, discern your path, determine your power. I'm Dr. Amber Sessoms, and together, let's unlock our power, build authentic connections, and foster collective liberation. Welcome to episode 13 of Living in 3D Power. And y'all, this one is pure joy. Last week, Emma invited you, our curious, affirming community, to send in questions for her to answer. And let me tell you, the questions that came in, they were thoughtful, they were funny, insightful, loving, just like y'all. So today, Emma's in the spotlight. She's answering your questions, everything from what gives her confidence to how she handles challenges, who she admires, and even what makes someone dope. And listen, she understood the assignment. But what you didn't see is what happened behind the scenes. And it was me setting and editing, second guessing how the flow was going, wishing I had laid the format out differently. And I was in my head. And Emma looked at me, paused, and said, "I believe in you, mommy. You can do this." So she even offered tips on editing, like saying I should add music to help with engagement. So you'll see some music or hear some music in here. And it was a reminder that she's not just in front of the camera, she helps to shape each and every episode. And this particular episode, it affirmed me in a moment of doubt. And this also affirmed what community has done for her. So if you're watching the video version, I want you to also notice her posture, her smile, the way she opens up when she hears your affirmations, because you're witnessing what is happening when a child feels seen, heard, and valued. So this episode, it's not just a Q&A. It's a beautiful example about what happens when we make space for children to be their full, curious, creative selves, and when we listen like it matters. So whether you're raising a child, mentoring a young person, or reconnecting with your own inner voice, this one is for you. Let's begin.
It's me, it's me, it's me. It's me, it's me, it's me. Oh, hey, it's me, Emma. Today, we have a special version. Today, we are going to be answering some of your guys' questions. Mommy is in the back going to read the questions, so yes. So let's start with the first question.
Okay, so we got questions from our website, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, I think, and LinkedIn. So you asked 2 questions. Do you remember what your questions were?
I think I said, give us like feedback and ask us some questions too.
So in case you missed it, we're just going to run this back.
Hey, it's me, Emma. Welcome back to Living in 3D Power. And today, my mom's not here.
Oh no!
I'm doing it by myself. Wink, wink. my mom's behind the camera. And I'm going to be asking you guys some questions. So, the first question I have, are you liking the podcast? Don't be shy. Tell me, are you liking it? And the second one is, do you have any suggestions for us? Like any questions that my mom could ask me that we could answer? And I think that's it. Yeah.
So now that you're all caught up, let's listen to your amazing comments.
So from Tom, she says, I love your podcast. Still trying to see them all. I am proud of how mature you have become. Must be the double digits. I love it. Love how you are growing. And that is from Mrs. Dewana Payton. So we love it, Emma. Keep it coming. Doris Mayhew. Love her he at the end. She's such a natural podcaster. Liz Potter. Love it. Heart emoji. I just love Emma and her authentic self, and the dialogues that you two expound on as you discuss these topics is awesome. Leslie Alsop Kelly. Got a heart emoji from Denise Wortham Backus. Love this. Y'all are amazing. What gifted and talents. So there's a couple emojis there from Karen Gatling. So this is from Miss Sissy. You look good, Emma. Your hair, I love it. This is great. Michelle Corallo. So that's a school psychologist. So, I'm always going to shout out my school psychs. Hey, Emma. And behind the scenes, Amber, wink. I'm absolutely loving the podcast so far. The topics and conversations. I don't know. Is this a okay? Is this like a chef's kiss?
Okay.
Okay. So that was the emoji. It's inspired me to have more meaningful dialogue with my 10-year-old. So that is the iconic life. So I've never met Talisha, but the iconic life. She's my friend in my head. I've never actually met her. I think she lives in Memphis, and she's an amazing photographer. And the way she puts her color combinations together. Yeah, so I love that she's having conversations with her 10-year-old daughter. It's really important. And I'm glad that you're inspiring people to do that. So another comment, love it. And that's from Kyra Mitchell. Been loving the content. Love the pod. And this is from Alex Yoon Hosey. Okay. So Jametta says, she was born for this. Amazing star in the making. Love that. And Mitch owns a theater and he's an actor. So for him to say, nice work, Emma, that's a big deal. So high praise there. Because I always say that you are quite the actor. Okay, so Dr. Danny Martin. Yes, I love the podcast and I love your transparency and way of thinking. Okay, we're down to the last couple. Dr. Tierra Bland says, Emma is so stankin' cute. I love the episodes. It's Vita Colon, another creative. She is just tugging on my heartstrings. I am so proud. Yasmin, another school psych. I love this so much. Going to binge watch this series. Emma is an inspiring advocate, just like her mama.
Aww.
So, tear laughing emojis from cousin Erica. I love her. Okay, another school psych, Jen says, the fit, the personality, the up and down eyes with arms crossed. Are you kidding me? Okay, we got a comment on LinkedIn from Morris Burns. He said, Emma is owning it. And TikTok cousin Lynn gave you some smiley heart hug emojis. So lots of love that you got. This is like 2.5 pages worth of love. I will just be reading the questions to Emma, and she's going to take it away because this is her show.
It's mine.
First question is, are you satisfied with your progress and growth since you and your mom have been doing this podcast? And this is from Pop Pop Sassums.
I think I'm very proud of it because we gained so many people that have been watching our podcast and our shorts and looking at our Instagram and TikTok and stuff. So I think we've been growing a lot.
What would you say to a kid your age who is struggling with confidence? That's from Vern Davis, another school psych.
I would say, if you don't think you got this, then think of all the things you like to do and things that you're good at.
And that kind of goes into when we talked about your strengths. Great advice. Okay, so we have some questions, or a question from Jessica, who's all the way out in California. She's a teacher.
California girls.
You have such a strong voice, Emma.
Oh,
Where does your confidence come from? And what would you tell someone who is feeling they are not good enough to speak up?
I think my confidence comes from my heart and my gut. And something I would say to a person that can't speak up is, you have a voice too. Let it shine.
Let it shine. So your heart and your gut. So trusting your intuition. How do you trust? How do you know what your gut's telling you? Like, what does that feel like, or what do you do when that happens?
It's like my gut is pulling me.
So when that happens, what do you do?
I trust it.
I love that. And I think this world will try to pull us away from that sense. I think we're all innately born with that. So I think you're tapped into something that we lose sight of. So learning what that feels like, trusting yourself, trusting that that's God-given, and going in that direction will never steer you wrong. That's a beautiful gift that we all have, that you're just really tapped into at 10. Okay, so Ontario Knight, another fellow school psychologist, says, or asks, what drives you to give effort when tasks are hard?
Mommy.
Say more about that.
Because today I had a math test and we practiced over it the day before, and I wrote reminders, and she helped me bring up my confidence.
Even through the tears and frustration, right?
Yes.
And that's okay, but we can do hard things. And what I noticed is that you had affirmation cards in the morning. You had 2 up, speaking life and speaking positivity instead of saying negative things about yourself, is what we always want to encourage you to do, because we can bully ourselves, right? So I think that was really important. You did that on your own. I didn't even have to say, hey, let's do an affirmation. You did it on your own. So I think that's awesome. The second thing he asks is, how might you drive change when you are not motivated?
Maybe someone could motivate me, like you or one of my friends, and make me smile.
Yeah, I think that's important. So what you bringing up is community is really important. So what would you say to someone that doesn't have someone that encourages them? We call it intrinsic motivation. So you have to tap in within. Is there a way that you tap in to encourage yourself?
Maybe think of all the things I'm good at, and because usually when I'm unencouraged, I think about the things I'm not good at, and I think about how I can't do things. So I think thinking about what I'm good at, like singing and art.
I think that's great. And what you're bringing up, you brought up 2 things I think are important. So I think about inside out. So when you're in your bag, when you're sad, you're going to automatically be flooded with negative things, and you'll tend to believe them. But what you're saying is, think about things that you're good at, but you would have to do some work to know what you're good at, or to believe that you're good at those things. So I think that's really important. Again, going back to that, strengths assessment is really going to be key, and trying and experimenting with things. So when you're in a family and you're cutting up fabric, which I don't necessarily like, not punishing you for doing that, but getting curious and leaning in and asking why will lead us closer to something that you really are passionate about, or you really are good at. So I think those things are important, those clues that our kids give us.
I want like big fabric so I can make myself a dress. And I want to learn how to sew.
Oh, we can definitely do that this summer with Grandma Kia. I think that's, you do have the sewing machine, getting you some fabric, but that's a great solution you're bringing up. Instead of destroying your own clothes, getting you some fabric that you can cut and you can learn how to make dresses. I love that solution. Thank you for being solution focused. Okay, so Dr. Danielle Brown sent 2 questions. The first question is, if someone wanted to be your best friend, what is the most important thing they need to know about you?
That I am very funny, and that if something's wrong, you gotta tell me, because I'll figure out a way to solve the problem.
So there's something wrong between the 2 of you, or just something wrong in general?
In general.
So you want to help?
Yeah, because I can tell when something's wrong with someone.
You really can. And sometimes people don't want to talk about it. What do you do when people say nothing, I'm fine, and you know something's wrong?
I'm like, you're not fine. And I keep on saying, it's okay.
It's okay to tell you? Do they eventually tell you? They don't? So maybe rethinking, what else can you do if you know something's wrong? Sometimes it's hard when people are upset or they don't want to share. And if you keep asking them, it might irritate them more. So sometimes just being there, or just saying, what is it that you need right now? Maybe they just need a hug. Maybe they just need to cry. Maybe they need to write it out. Maybe you just be there in silence with them. There's different ways to support people. It doesn't always have to be them talking, because you're really good with your words, but not everyone's good with their words. So how do we find ways, as her question is, what's important to know about you to be your best friend? You would have to ask that same question of your friend. What do they need, or what's most important to them? That makes a really strong relationship. So that's a great question. The second question is, tell us about your bravest day being Emma.
I think it was when we were at Universal and we rode like a scary ride. I forget what it was called. I think it was the one where you went up and then you went down and it was like water and we got soaking wet. It was like Deadly Do Ride, I think.
Yeah, in the old cartoon part.
Yeah, I was scared, but it was fun. But I closed my eyes on the drop. I kept on closing and opening my eyes because I wanted to see what happened, but I was also scared.
So what helped you get over your fear?
People that were on the ride with me, except Maya. She was too scared to go on it.
Yes. So again, going back to community and people that you trust, that's important. Okay, so you have 8 questions from Keisha Finney. So she's an amazing artist. I've shown you her paintings and her work. So fellow artist to fellow artist. Her first question is, what is something in your life that makes you feel really lucky?
My house and my family and my dogs and food.
So lots of things. That's good. Okay, second question. How do you think your life would be different without it? So if you picked one of those things, but you listed a bunch, how do you think your life would be different without those things that you named that make you feel lucky?
I would be more hungry and more cold and maybe live on the streets.
And connect that to what you talk about, one of your passions or one of the things that really concerns you is?
Houseless people.
So I love that Keisha's asking that question, that first question, what makes you feel lucky and how would your life be different? Because it gives you some pause to think about how blessed you are, but also thinking about how do you use your privilege and what you have to not just think, oh, I'm lucky and I have this and too bad if you don't, but it makes you think. I even saw your body language change as you talked about and thought about it. So how does that make you lead differently to support people that don't have what she's saying, luck or blessings that you have. Okay, so third question is, if you had to help someone who didn't have what you have, what would you want to share with them to make their life better?
Money. Because if they didn't have all the necessities that a person could need, I'll give them money because that's the most thing you need to buy all the things.
I think that's great. And a lot of people don't have the basic things that you need. So you have basic necessities. And unfortunately, we need money in this society in order to get those things. I love that. So again, her questions are stacking on top of that and are leading to how do you help others? 4, who makes you feel the most loved and how do they show it?
I would say mommy and daddy. And they show it by hanging out with me and giving me hugs and kisses.
Which seems to be your love language is quality time and physical touch. So that's important for us to know. Sometimes we think about that for adults, people that are married, what's your love language, but it also is important to know your child's love language.
Yay.
Number 5, how do you think you'd handle a really big challenge on your own?
I think I would talk it out with the person and see what's wrong, and then we would make a solution.
So go to the person that you were having the issue with or the problem with. I love that. And a lot of people will do the opposite. They'll go to someone else and try to talk about them instead of going to the person and solving it. But what we learn in psychology or any type of resolution, the first step is going to the person and say, hey, can we address this? And then if they don't want to or it doesn't get resolved, and then you go to the next step. But I love that you're saying, I'm going to go to the person. We're going to have the conversation. Okay, her 6th question is, if you could learn any creative skill, what would it be?
Electric guitar. Like the electric bass, because I already play the string bass.
And do you like the electric bass because?
I like the way it sounds.
Definitely like the way that it sounds. 7, what do you wish grown-ups understood about being your age today?
I think it would be the fashion, because people wear like leggings. They wear like basically comfy clothes, but they pay a lot of money for just a hoodie, like $60.
So you wish that we understood that you wear comfy clothes and you don't always get fancy and dressed up?
Yeah.
Okay, so her 8th and final question. What's your favorite thing to do for fun?
I would say color or sing.
Favorite song?
Any song from Gorillaz. With the Z.
Oh, Gorillas with a Z. I'll have to put that in the show notes. Okay, so Facebook, you have some comments and questions. Could you talk about the diversity and shift of this generation, meaning your generation, and how we as parents and grandparents should adjust or meet our children somewhere in the middle? So, and that is from Mrs. Dewana Payton.
I think since this is such a new generation, there's like different slangs and stuff and different terms, and based on what you're like, what does that mean? So I think you should like meet them in the middle by knowing what they say and knowing what they're talking about.
I love that. It's very wise. Oh, wait. So this is from Miss Sissy, and Miss Sissy is one of our elders in the church, and Miss Sissy actually does voice messages. So it's transcribed. So that's why I'm struggling to read it, but let's see what she's saying here. She says, I have a question. This is Miss Sissy. Why ain't you in school? You all doing podcasts or just on the weekends?
So we usually do our podcast on Sundays, and then my mom does the editing throughout the week until Wednesday. So we try to get it uploaded on Wednesday, so we have like a couple days to edit.
So you're not missing school to film. Don't be calling children and youth on me, Miss Sissy. Okay, so Dr. Danny Martin, what are some ways that adults can support young people during challenging times?
By listening and actually taking what they say to charge.
Oh, you know what? That's so good. And this is literally what I tell my clients. You're a mini me. And I say we sit and we'll listen and we think the work is listening. But when people are speaking their truth, you actually do something with the wisdom that they're telling you. So I think that's an excellent point that you're making, Emma. We struggle to listen and actually apply that knowledge to make meaningful change for people. Awesome. From cousin Erica, how does it feel to have such a dope, popular mom?
Very cool.
I'm thinking you don't necessarily agree with that.
You are cool, but dope.
So what's the distinction there? I'm cool, but not dope.
So dope means you're like so cool that everyone knows you. Like Nike's so dope.
And cool means
You're cool.
that just immediate family know me.
No.
So dope takes you have to be on a level where you're popular and beyond your family or your
cool.
community.
You're cool.
I'm cool, but I'm not dope. Okay.
It's okay, mommy.
But she says dope and / popular mom
You are popular though.
in our local community.
You wouldn't understand.
Because it's generational, I wouldn't understand. That's why I'm asking you, explain it.
So basically, you're cool. Cool means like some people know you, but not everyone. So like 50 plus, or like 60 or 70. And then like dope is like 100 to 200 to 300 to like 400 to 1,000.
So I have to work on that.
It's fine, mommy.
I'll just take that I'm cool or I'm popular. I'll take that. What is the most frustrating and also rejuvenating thing when you think about each other's generation? So my generation and your generation.
What does rejuvenating mean?
Rejuvenating, it's like re-energized. It kind of gets you re-inspired and gives you more energy. So frustrating, but also rejuvenating. And this is from Alex Yoon Hosey.
I think one of the frustrating things is that you could be able to just knock on someone's door and ask to play. Because I don't have that many friends that live around me. So I can't just be walking up to their house and knock that. And it's dangerous. And I would think the rejuvenating thing would be the music, because I like the hip-hop music.
What do you call it? Vintage? Retro?
Vintage.
I love that. So you wish you had more freedoms, or when you're saying that you could go up and knock on doors, do you mean that when I was your age, I was able to do that and you're not able to do that because...
It's dangerous.
That's a good point. Yeah, I think we did have a lot more freedoms and a lot less concerns when we were growing up, because we would be out all the way on the other side of the town until the street lights were coming on. So the rule was, when the street lights come on, you better be on this front porch. And I can't even imagine allowing you to go out and do that now. So I think technology and social media has given us more access to what's going on in the world, so we do have more concerns, but also it keeps us in more tags on you because we have tracking devices and all those things. But yeah, that's a valid point though, that we had more freedoms when I was my age, that you have less. Okay, so here's a bunch of questions from another school psych. So first question is, if you could wear one color for the rest of your life, which color would it be and why?
Blue. Because jeans are blue. There's different types of jeans. Like there's dark ones, there's light ones, and there's light and dark blues. So I could wear like a dark blue shirt with like very light like pants.
And I should say this is Lexi. She's a school psych. Blue, denim, never go wrong with denim. So the second question she asks is, what's your fave snack to share with others?
Trail mix are Pringles.
Is there a certain flavor of Pringles?
I like the regular ones. The salt and vinegar ones or the pizza ones.
And her third question, what advice do you have for peers who may get into arguments with adults?
I would say if you don't got anything nice to say, don't say it at all.
It's good advice. So from Tom, she says, my question for you is about your many talents like music and art. Can you talk about what your favorite talent is and why? Also, when did you discover your talent, or did you always know?
I think my favorite talent is art because there's different ways of doing art, and I like to do it different ways, and you could do it different ways like every single day, and you don't always have to do the same thing, and you can add different colors. And I learned this from like a young age, from like age 3, I think.
Okay, so we also got some more messages from Instagram, and the next one is from my barber, Amit Corso, and of course his aligns with his haircuts, but he's asking you, what is your favorite design that I have gotten?
I think the one when it was like, it kind of looked like a flower. There was one that kind of looked like a flower. It was like, and it kind of looked like there was an ocean too.
There's so many haircuts, but yeah, you like more of the curved lines than the straight lines. So hopefully he'll remember that. Maybe he can recreate that next time I go. Okay, so the next question is from Moses Mitchell. What's the hardest part about podcasting?
Editing. From your side, you're like, oh my gosh, I have to finish it by Wednesday. Oh, I gotta edit the podcast. Overnight in your bed, typing, editing.
What's the hardest part from your end?
Talking. Because sometimes I'm just like, I say something and I accidentally say it wrong, and then we have to retake it, and sometimes I laugh. And when I go, hey, it's me, it takes me a couple tries.
Sometimes, because you're pretty natural at that. But yeah, I think that is hard when we fumble over the words. And sometimes it's easy to edit that out, but I think it's going to make a great blooper reel one day. So let us know if you would like to see a blooper reel, y'all, because we have some and some behind the scenes where Emma is giving me some critiques. So y'all might think that that's really funny because I found it very funny. Okay, he had another question he attached to that, though. So in terms of the podcasting, do you think this is what you'll do in the future?
Maybe. I don't know, but like I'll do it on my spare time maybe about fashion.
I can see that. I can see you having some kind of fashion boutique or your own clothing line and talking about that. Sky's the limit. Freedom dream. Okay, we're down to the last couple. Dr. Tierra Bland says, now that it's officially springtime and the weather is warming up, what are some fun activities that you like to do?
I'll play tag, play jump rope with my friends, play Skippo.
Is it called Skippo or Skip It? Yeah, that's a
Skippo.
vintage, or that's a game that we had when we were kids. So I love
fun.
that. And I love that you're actually saying things that I did as a kid. I expected you to say things that might be more technology based.
Stay inside, play video games, watch no. It's the one time it gets nice out, so I'm going to spend it as most time I have.
That might be pretty rare because I think we're having issues with getting kids outside. Y'all just like to be cooped up inside.
That's Maya. It's like she's in her own cave. She comes out rarely, only to eat.
Only at night. You can't see her when the sun's out. She might melt.
Yeah, she literally, one time I thought she was over here, but she wasn't. And then one time I thought she wasn't here, but she was. She's like a vampire. One second she's not there, another second she's like...
Are you mocking her on her phone?
Yes.
So I love that you were saying, like, I'm going to get out and be a fresh air kid and not be trapped in the house. That's good. Oh, she actually has another question. So Dr. Tierra Bland also asks, what are some activities that kids your age or a little older should try out for the first time?
I don't know if you know what this is, but Gaga ball, it's when you're in a circle and you put the ball in the middle and you say, and it bounces up and down and you're like, Gaga ball. And then someone tries to hit you, and if it hits your legs, you're out.
Is it a red rubber ball?
Yeah.
Y'all play with red rubber balls? So we played with them when we were kids, and I thought they got rid of them because those things can sting. But we played dodgeball with those, and you would get smacked in the face with those, and that would really hurt.
Ow.
So Gaga ball, you bounce it.
And you're in a circle.
I've never heard of that. I'll have to look that up, maybe put it in show notes. But so everyone should try that game. And maybe not just, she's saying a little older, so maybe even 43, 44-year-olds. So thank you, School Psych, Dr. Tierra Bland. Okay, so we have 3 questions from Audra Weaver, and she is such a great advocate and promoter for our podcast, so we send you lots of love, so thank you for supporting.
Love.
Yes. First question is, if you could have a conversation with future Emma, what would you ask her or tell her?
Do you have your own business? Because when I get older, I want to have my own fashion business like my grandma.
I love that.
And did you go to NYU or did you go to college? A fashion college, though. Any fashion college.
This is why you cut up all the fabric or shirts or leggings. I find scraps of fabric everywhere. Or when you're supposed to be making your bed, you come down in a floor-length gown that you made out of your bedroom sheets.
Why are you exposing me?
But this shows, right? I think this is what sometimes parents miss, because you'll see things like this and you might get aggravated or say you're distracted, but it's actually giving you hints of what you really love. So lots of love that you got when you put out the ask, saying, what do you think? Tell us what you think about the podcast, and also send some questions for me to answer. And you got this response. What do you think of the questions? What do you think of the response? How does it make you feel?
I like the questions, and I'm proud of how much we done because these are a lot of questions.
Yeah, and so any final chicken nuggets of wisdom or anything that we didn't discuss that you would like to discuss on this special episode?
We love you. Hey, 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 hey. Bye. We love you.
Okay, so I'm still sitting with Emma's answers and her clarity, but more than anything, I'm sitting with how deeply she believes in herself and in me. So this week, she reminded me that leadership isn't about age or authority. It's about presence. It's about care and courage. She reminded me that confidence comes from remembering who you are, even when others try to shrink you. She reminded me that our individual strengths are invaluable tools for how we navigate the world, and that play isn't a luxury. It's how we reconnect to joy, awe, and wonder. And Emma realizes that her superpower is helping people feel seen. And what she doesn't know yet is that the community has helped her to see that within herself. So I hope that this episode makes you ask, when was the last time I affirmed a child's brilliance? Or when was the last time I was affirmed in my own? Or what kind of leader or caretaker would I be if I centered listening over proving? So this community doesn't just send in questions. You modeled what it looks like to lift up a young Black girl's voice with reverence, humor, and joy. You reflected her light back to her. And she felt it, y'all. And as her mama, I deeply thank you. So here's your invitation this week. Reflect on who poured into you when you were young and pass it on. Lead with affirmation, not perfection. And if you find yourself second guessing your voice, take a cue from Emma. Trust your gut and know that she believes in you, and so do I. So be sure to send us your questions for the next Ask Emma episode, because your questions are what is needed in this world. And I'll add the link in the show notes for that. But you can also DM us on any platform. Now, if this 10-year-old truth teller inspired you to be curious about your own experience, please like, comment, subscribe to our Substack, where you can get early access to these episodes and reflection questions and a weekend newsletter where I unpack each episode even more. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you'll not only get full access to episodes, but you will also get access to the shorts. And if you listen to podcasts or wherever you listen to them, be sure to take a moment to rate our podcast. I'm hoping it's a 5-star to help us with our reach. So until next time, keep discovering your truth, discerning your path, and determining your 3D power. Take care, y'all.